Welcome to the Recovery Centered Podcast, the space for honest conversation about healing, hope, and the journey through mental health and addiction recovery. Each episode, we sit down with people making a difference, from therapists and researchers to change makers and to survivors. Now to explore what recovery really looks like in the world. This podcast is produced in collaboration with Beachway Therapy Center. Good afternoon, everybody, or should I say good day, everybody, because I don't know, it may be morning somewhere, it may be evening somewhere, who knows? The Recovery Center podcast is going all over the world, which is an incredible accomplishment. My name's Tim, I'm your host. Today we're going to do something a little different. I have my dear friend Allie here today to do the interviewing. So this episode is going to be Tim Roberto interviewed by a great friend, Allie.
It's like a Freaky Friday. We're going to switch bodies.
Yeah, Freaky Friday. I like that.
Yes, I'm excited to be here to interview you today.
Right?
Are you nervous?
I am a little bit because I don't know where you're going to go.
I know. Is it weird to be in the hot seat?
I don't know about weird, different.
Okay.
You know, but I couldn't think of anybody else I'd rather do it with, to be honest with you.
Well, I appreciate you thinking of me. It was 2 years ago that you came on the Back Alley Chat podcast. I know, which I miss doing, but I know the time goes by so fast. It goes by so fast. And I was reminiscing one of the quotes that you said during that interview. I don't know if you'll remember, but you said you had great coping skills, not great coping skills.
I still use that.
Before I got into recovery when I was 18, so many years ago, 17 years ago now. That was the first time I'd ever heard that one, and it stuck with me ever since, just because I thought it was funny. But you have such an interesting story, and you're doing so much good work now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about it, and we haven't really chatted. I saw you at Dave Ehrenberg's book signing briefly, but we didn't get to catch up much. So this will be our catch up session.
Well, you're always a doer. And your feet are always moving. My gosh, I met a lot, but Allie's definitely one of the top doers that are in my life. She's just always doing something, but all the things she does always has great cause.
Yeah, and it's like you, it's like some people are just love to serve. Love to serve their community and others, and to be as useful as possible. And I know that that's something that is big in your life. So I know that you grew up in Jazzy.
Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. I have no idea what pork roll is.
And you went into the Marines.
I did.
A young man.
Very young man, yep.
And your mom was scared you was going to change you.
Wow, your memory's phenomenal. Oh, my God.
All the time. Don't get used to it. I'm sure I'm going to mess something up. I have pregnancy brain now. It's real. Yeah. It's like a real thing. But so let's kind of go back to that young man, that young Tim. How old were you when you were in the Marines?
I waited a couple years, so like 19 or 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before you went in, were you drinking or doing?
Oh, yeah.
Is that why you decided to go there? Or what drove you to do that? What drove you to?
God, there were so many moving parts to that. Grew up in an aggressive household. Never really had camaraderie. I'm one of 5 boys, 3 boys across the street, and then 2 boys next to them. So all these boys, I was always the youngest and the littlest. Always got my ass kicked. Always kind of like pushed to the side. I felt invisible.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was this tough Italian guy that came to Brooklyn, New York from Italy in 1953. And
wow.
Yeah, my mom was, she waited a year and came in 1954. He was the non-emotional guy, and she was the enabler.
Mm-hmm.
So, talk about the combination for a perfect storm.
Wow.
And I always, I don't know, man. It's like game recognizes game and real recognizes real.
Mm-hmm.
And I always seen that camaraderie between, police, fire, Marines. I mean,
Yes.
my feed today and the texts I'm getting, and happy birthday, Marine. You know, it's the Marine Corps' birthday today, and
Oh, yes.
yeah, so I'm
Oh,
getting
when
all the
did they do
Simplify
this? Yes, 200, is it 250? 250
250.
years?
Yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I'm getting all the for all you veterans. I'm getting all the box of Crown jokes.
Yay. What is that?
Look it up.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
I'm not in the club, but it is so cool. And being a Marine is like, I just appreciate anyone that serves our country. And they should be given like all the praise and all the help.
Yeah,
And so it kills me sometimes. Obviously, I work in homeless services when we have a veteran
yeah,
outside to see them struggle so much
yeah,
because government has to be so complex and so much red tape
yeah,
that it's very hard sometimes if they're extremely sick to navigate these systems.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but it kills you because you know how much that they gave to us to have our freedoms and to be
Oh
able
yeah.
to just have a podcast where we can say whatever we want on the internet.
Yeah,
Right? Like stuff
I
like
couldn't
that.
agree with you more. You know, nobody has no idea what some of these combat veterans are going through. And
Hmm.
even, if you didn't see combat, there's that certain structure to it and a
Hmm.
certain, there's an intensity to it, that creates a lot of angst and it creates a lot of stress and
Hmm.
everything has to be done punctually. And but then you got on the flip side of that, there's the tradition of hurry up and wait. Like
Right.
we busted our ass to get here, and now we're just sitting here in limbo, Like
Hmm.
that's typical military. Hurry up and wait. Like,
Yeah.
But
Wow. What was so the military is something that sticks with you forever.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming what are some things that you remember that stuck with you that you like still bring with you every day into your life today, into your work today?
I make my bed in the morning.
Okay. That's a good one.
All my dress shoes are really polished. They just taught me the value of respect,
Mhm.
camaraderie, do or die, semper fi. That's the Marine Corps uh, thing, and just I don't know, just a lot of bravery. Like there were so many things I couldn't do. I remember like boot camp was intense. I've never done. My father was a doctor in Manhattan,
Mhm.
but that's what attracted me to the Marine Corps. I knew it was another side of life that I really wanted to experience. My world was, I grew up in a really wealthy area in North
Right.
Jersey, up in Bergen County. You could
Mhm.
get to the Meadowlands in 20 minutes, Yankee Stadium in 40, Shea Stadium in 40.
Mhm.
So you had all these. Grew up with all these athletes, that were either
Wow.
in my neighborhoods or in my town. Phil Simms, the
Mhm.
old school Giants quarterback there. He married a girl that graduated out of my high school,
Wow.
Ramapo High School. So, that was that was okay, but I knew there was a different side, and that was the side that I was attracted to. I wasn't the intellectual kind of guy like my father.
Mhm.
My dad was very intellectual, very knowledgeable. He was fairly well known in Manhattan as a doctor. It just wasn't me.
So your using career spanned 3 decades?
What do you mean by using?
Or drugs and alcohol career, your drug and your copping career.
Like, they call them Timonisms.
Timid. Oh,
Yeah, that I'm still, grateful that I work at a phenomenal facility in West
yes.
Palm Beach Way, impeccable reputation.
Very
They
great
still allow
reputation.
me to do a couple of groups a week, and that's what all the clients. Oh boy, I got another group of Timonisms. And they love that copying skills analogy, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, great question. I didn't like how I felt, man, even
Mhm.
before I put in.
Mhm.
And to me, with where I'm at today and all the knowledge and research and, technology, I'm finally on the side of it's an illness, it's a disease. That disease was used right for years. Now, from my readings, it's a brain disorder.
Right.
And for me, it started with I didn't like how I felt.
Mhm.
And when I didn't like how I felt, I had no coping skills.
Right.
So I used, first time was marijuana,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not here to start a debate. I don't play ping pong like that. I'm just telling you my experience.
Right. How old were
It
you?
was a gateway for me, 11.
Okay.
And when you do something at 11, even at that age, growing up in an aggressive household, a lot of bullying, you get something like that, then all of a sudden, even at 11, that you get that,
Right.
my eggshells just went poof. I'm
Mm-hmm.
11 years old, for God's sakes. I'm like, I'll take more right now,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But I look back on it, man, the chase was on right out of the gate.
Totally. I was a similar age when I first smoked weed too, and I was at this event the other day, and they were speaking about prevention. It was this organization that goes into schools, and they they do age appropriate things about prevention and drugs and alcohol and stuff
Yeah.
like that, whatever.
Yeah.
And they said something interesting that I had never, I don't know, it just hit me differently when they said it. So they were basically saying that only like it was this very small amount. It was like 15% of kids under the age of 18 tried drugs or alcohol before the age of 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's it. And the interesting thing what she was saying was that a lot of people who did experiment in high school or middle school, when they have children, they kind of look at it like a rite of passage, instead of making it like, no, that's not normal. Like kids don't do that.
Mm.
Most kids don't do that.
Yeah.
Some kids do it, but
Yeah.
most kids
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yep.
And I was like, really? They don't? Like, I was also under the impression that most people in middle school and high school smoke weed or experiment with
Yep.
marijuana or drugs or alcohol before they graduate. And it's actually a very, very small amount of people. And I don't know, it's just something that stuck with me. Because I want to make sure that I don't treat it as if, well, it's normal or
Yeah.
this person will experiment. Because when you start using drugs and alcohol at that age, there's a lot of research that says that you're going to have a serious addiction by the time you're in early adulthood.
100%.
Yeah.
Actually, the earlier you start, and you couldn't. I think you're spot on. The earlier you start, the more likelihood your risk increases.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
And so when you got into recovery, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a friend from the Marines
Yeah.
that
Wow. You're
helped
really
you?
holy cow. See, it pays to have somebody younger do the interviewing because they can remember. I would be like, and she got sober a lot earlier than me too.
Save some brain cells.
Save some brain. Yeah, this guy named Charlie Oriema, man. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but oh well. Yeah, Charlie. He was we met at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
We were kids from New Jersey. He was from Bellevue,
Okay.
right next to Newark.
Your neighbor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And when he got out, he became a Newark police officer. And I was like, Charlie, what are you doing, man? You didn't have enough. He's like, it's just the way it is, Timmy. And I understood that. That was his jam,
Right.
After 6 years of a Newark police officer, like AKA Afghanistan.
Right.
Yeah, it's
crazy in Newark.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He had the agency physician put him on some Klonopin.
Mm-hmm.
Within a year's time, he was on the needle.
Because he was having like a lot of anxiety at work.
Yeah, just
Is
the
that why he
job,
went
getting
to the
shot
doctor?
at. A lot of the car chases were extremely high then. They
Wow.
were, I think, when back in that day, it was.
When was that? Like the 80s or the 90s or what?
89. What did I go in? 84. Yeah, late 80s, 90s. A lot of the guys were fleeing and eluding, so they made it a felony.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were busted and caught with a fleeing and eluding, I think the minimum then was a year. Just it was intense.
Yeah.
Dearming people, tons of drugs, gangs,
Wow.
shootings, really bad calls.
Mm-hmm.
With the domestic violence and children. It's
interesting that he felt comfortable enough to go seek some help, even if it wasn't the best help.
I think he was pushed into it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were like, maybe you should go see a doctor or
Yeah, which was really rare because I think we're better today with our first responders or veterans, but I mean, late 80s, 90s. What are we talking?
Right,
25
that's what I'm
years?
thinking, like
Hey, this is what you signed up for, suck it up. Well, that really helps.
right,
Let me just push it down a little more. And then when I get
right,
home, maybe I'll take it out on the family
right.
or whatever.
So he got prescribed the
Yeah.
Klonopin that
Oh,
is
man.
so dangerous, and I know that I guess it can help some people,
Correct.
but
Yep.
it is just very dangerous because it makes you so relaxed,
Yep.
and it sometimes can give you the courage to do things that you wouldn't normally
Yep.
do, like go cop heroin as a police officer
Yep. Yep.
and
And
start using, like
yeah, and Charlie, I've known him my whole life. We're still friends. I just seen him a few weeks ago.
wow,
Um, Never smoked, never drank,
wow.
no, clean as a whistle. His dad had a successful electrical company up there. He
Mhm.
was an electrician. He's a licensed electrician too. And then one day he called me from Florida, and I was like, okay, that's really weird. The hell are you doing in Florida? Oh, I just wanted to get out of New Jersey. Well, when I needed help from him, it all came together. And he said, well, Timmy, remember when I came to Florida from New Jersey?
How did that phone call go? So you just randomly picked up the phone to call him, or what made you
Yeah.
reach out to him specifically? Was it anything in particular?
Well, because I had my third seizure over in the west coast of Florida.
Mm.
Doing what I did, and police were there, in the hospital. Um, the police officer that came in, it was the first time in my life I didn't even see a man wearing a uniform because he really cared.
Mhm.
And he told me about the call. So when the 911 call came in, I was like, oh my God, because he's like, you're never going to believe this, but. And I'm like, oh, it happened. Like I hurt somebody.
Mhm.
And he's like, it was just something about the call. He's like, because the 911, when they called in, they said, you're never going to believe this, but it looks like a guy's driving down the street having a seizure. I
Wow.
was probably flopping like a fish. My, I think my foot just stayed on the gas pedal. I probably went back like that kind of thing. It smashed all
Wow.
these cars. And my parents had a Crown Vic. I don't know if you guys know about what a Crown. It used to be an old tank. They're tanks. It's
Yes.
an old
They're
Ford.
serious,
Ford,
like
yeah, like
heavy
mega car.
duty.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're
And it
not afraid
was
to cut someone off on that thing.
yeah, and it was smashed to smithereens. So the
Ooh.
cop, he said, "You need help." And I called Charlie, and man, Charlie said to me, "I've been waiting for this phone call." And so many of us don't know. That's like how separated it separates you from even
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
And I've hear it all the time, like, "What, you really know?" Yeah."
Mhm.
And I said the same thing, like everybody that I work with. Really? You knew? Yeah. And Charlie did the same thing when I was waiting for this call. I'm like, you know? And he's like, Timmy, of course I knew. You couldn't even talk sometimes talking to
Right.
you.
We think we're hiding it so
Correct.
well.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
think we're hiding it so well. Nobody else knows.
Right.
So yeah, the place he went to was in Deerfield Beach, Florida. So I got on a Greyhound because my mother, God, amazing woman, but like so many parents, they think they can fix it or
Mm.
they just keep throwing money at it. Or finally,
Mhm.
this is crazy, Allie. What a great question, because my mother was in her 80s
Wow.
and finally said, we can't do this anymore.
Oh my gosh.
You have to go.
Imagine how hard that was for her in her 80s to think and act differently towards her son she loves so much
Right.
after doing the same thing for so long.
And so, for all the moms or even the dads out there, any loved one
Yeah.
that happens to catch this episode, it was because of what my mother did that day that she couldn't do most my whole life,
Mhm.
was what got me into sobriety, because I called Charlie and asked him and he said, yeah, I know. So he took me to this place. I got a scholarship and I ended up staying there almost 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, started cleaning toilet bowls and picking up cigarette butts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that stuff, and painting apartments because they had apartments on the property,
Mhm.
and I was going through divorce. I handed my house over.
Wow.
State took my parental rights away. Like, talk about, but thank God I was in the environment that I was in, because I had great coping skills, but I had no coping skills, and I don't, based on my history, I don't think I could have made it.
Yeah, and they gave you those opportunities to be of service.
Connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just plugged, well, that camaraderie.
Yep.
Bunch of men living together. I lived
Yeah.
with men. We had that camaraderie. We're all beat up. We all went through the
Mhm.
meat grinder, and then the
Mhm.
women started showing up. But I don't mean it any other way. That I've learned so much from women,
Mhm.
because in recovery, um, I see them differently. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just see them differently,
Mhm.
and they've taught me so much because they think differently than me, and they feel differently
Yes.
than me, and they process things differently than me,
Mhm.
and they just got more common sense than me sometimes. And so it was just one of those magical times in my life, where I was starting to finally get a taste.
Yes, even when I went to treatment, state funded treatment, they finally had me there the other day for an event, and I was so happy. I was like, "Yeah, I'll for sure be there."
Heck yeah.
I was so bad, even in recovery, that they banned me from becoming an alumni. And I didn't even do drugs. I was just, I just had terrible
Have, like,
behavior.
you're,
Talk about isms. Yeah.
you had untreated. You were still untreated, huh?
Very well. It took a lot of treatment to,
Uh,
yeah,
uh,
arrest some of the symptoms that I had.
yeah,
Um, but for me too, it was that was some of the best times of
uh,
my life were really early recovery, because while you have the responsibility of staying in recovery and building a support group and going to meetings, like it's really not a ton of responsibility, especially if you get to be in treatment or a sober
yeah,
living. Like, you just do what they tell you to
yeah,
do.
yeah. It's
You
like,
don't, you don't have to like reimagine
yeah.
anything or think outside the box or create a new roadmap to this.
Yeah, and it's not like you're being taught by, like, a carpenter or a electrician or a car mechanic.
Right.
You're being taught by somebody that actually went through the meat grinder like you, drank
Yes.
just like you, drugged just like you,
Mhm.
lived dysfunctionally just like you, blah 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 blah, just like you. And
Mhm.
somebody just like me taught me how to stop going to, like, Home Depot for ice cream. Because when
Right.
when I was in that life, I was just full of anger,
Yeah.
angst, resentful,
Mhm.
anxious, dependent on the day, how much money I had. And,
Yeah.
I kept going to Home Depot for ice cream, and then to go like this, why don't you have ice cream? What the? And walk out, get all pissed off. And when I was pissed off, it just kept me in the cycle.
Yeah. I I love like research. I'm like such a big I want to know why. Why didn't this work?
Yeah.
Or how does this work?
Yeah.
And when I was the rehab center I was in, everything was on one campus. So there was a detox, res, halfway house, whatever. So when I was in halfway, I inevitably saw people I knew from residential, like, because the only people I see in the halfway house portion were Department of Corrections people, so people that were on their way to prison. So it was a very small group of us.
Yeah.
But I saw other people come that graduate, they'd come back to detox, graduate, come back to detox, and I'd see them outside smoking a cigarette, and I'd be like, "Hey, like,
Mm.
what happened? Why do you think this happened?" I was just so interested in where did you fuck up,
Yeah.
And they like all told me the same thing, and it stuck with me. They're like, I just stopped doing what they told me to do. I just stopped doing what and
Yeah.
they would all say the same thing. I
Yeah.
didn't do the things they told me to do.
Yeah.
And it was very impactful for me to ask them, for them to be so honest,
Mm.
because I knew that I had to do,
Yeah.
if I wanted recovery,
Yeah.
I had to do what they were
I can
suggesting
relate
I
to
do.
that so much. Like, every time I didn't do what you guys told me to do, it happened again.
Mhm.
And then you made me think, like, I'm just wired to unwire,
Right.
and I have to treat my condition. I don't. It's not a moral issue. I got a very serious health condition.
Mhm.
Just what are we now? Monday. Just last week, I went down to Miami to speak. somebody invited me to speak. They're like, I don't know if you can make it down here now. I know you live in Boynton, and it's probably an hour and a half. I was like, oh, I'll be there. What time you need me there? You know what I mean? They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I?
That's awesome. I was thinking, when did you like get the spark to start stomping out the stigma? Like, what was it that created that idea for you, and where were you in your life and your recovery, like when that happened?
Wow, stomping out the stigma. Holy cow. Well, it was my 15th year of continuous sobriety.
Okay.
I live in Boynton, and I got sober in Deerfield. So one day I Googled Boynton to Deerfield. It was a 20-mile difference. I said, huh, because I was starting to get the itch to do something for God, to show him how grateful I am to him. Well, I tried everything else. So for me,
Mhm.
everything else, I could just have a relationship. Do I understand it? Not really. Do I enjoy the experiences compared to the other one? The ones I used to have? Yes. So there's something, and it's like I call it God, like, because just like we call it pizza or something else. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? If somebody called it whatever 2,000 years ago, I'd be going into the store and getting a slice of whatever.
Right.
So I call it God, but I do like scripture too a lot. Anyway, so 20 miles. I said, okay, God, I'm committing. I'm going to show you how grateful I am for this 15 years of continuous sobriety. I'm going on a pilgrimage, just me and you, and I'm going to worship you the whole way. My
Wow.
wife's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And this is, this is without substance.
Right.
It's the human spirit. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That explorer, that seeker, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I made the commitment, and then I don't know, a little while later, I heard, Tim, I love you too, but you're gonna have 8.5, 9.5 hours to bring awareness to alcoholism, drug addiction, and a lot. I work with a lot of women too, and again, no disrespect to any process, but for me, I think women go through the meat grinder differently than men when it comes to the drug scene and the
Mhm.
bars. You know, you know what I'm talking about. So I was gonna put alcoholism, drug addiction, and human trafficking. I was gonna start bringing the conversation around that,
Mhm.
but then I heard, well, wait a minute, man, you're a Marine, and then sure, I went first responders.
Boom, it like hit you. Yeah, like that's what
Just
you were supposed to do.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just staying out of the way. It was
Mhm.
doing what it does best. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's everything.
Mhm.
So man, I'll tell you, boy, it just took off like wildfire. I'm getting phone calls. Hey, I heard about this walk. Telling my wife, I'm like, oh my God, what the heck did I just start? You know? And I'm like, oh, what am I gonna call it? And I just realized, it's just amazing. It's all organic, all
I
natural,
love
and
that.
it
What
just
were you doing for work at the time?
in treatment.
You were working in treatment,
Yeah, I never
okay.
left it since I showed up.
Oh, okay, so you showed up there on their footstep, and you just stayed you stayed around.
Yeah, I stayed around. I've only been to a couple of centers,
Yeah,
which
great.
is really fortunate.
And then
Um,
that idea hit you,
and then the idea
wow.
hit me at 15, and then I incorporated a hero's dinner
Mhm.
to raise more money. So what Stomping Out the Stigma did was create a space for first responders who don't want to report because there's such a stigma. But I'm
Mhm.
going to stomp that stigma to the
Mhm.
best of my ability, because we do no reporting to, and HR, no EAPs. We don't report to any agencies, no insurance, no, very, very limited paperwork. I only ask for first name only. For all I know,
So what can a first responder get service-wise through, like, if they
it's
contacted Stomping
it's
Out
like
the
an
Stigma?
outpatient. Look
Okay.
at it as an outpatient. You're with a licensed clinician. I don't
Mhm.
deal with, and no I know a lot of recovery coaches and life coach. For me, I want them to be with a licensed clinician,
Mhm.
preferably certified in trauma, because you have to get a master's degree and to be licensed, but this trauma certification.
Okay.
And then, through God's grace and me grinding and meeting people like you, doers, I have a pretty good base of culturally competent therapists now. Oh,
Awesome.
it's totally awesome. So it's like an outpatient service,
Mhm.
first name only. For all I know, Allie, names could be half of those first names could be fictitious.
Right.
I could care less.
Yeah.
What I care about is Palm Beach County has one of the highest suicide rates out of any other county in
Wow.
Florida. And Florida has 67 counties. And nationally, we lose more first responders to death by suicide than we do in the line of duty. Like,
Wow.
and I'm not picking a fight. I've asked over and over. I stopped asking it. Like, what are we doing about it? And everybody's just kind of like, well, I'm gonna do something. I'm trying anyway.
Yeah.
So in the last 4 years, I helped hundreds. I started out
Wow.
in Florida. I'm in Georgia. I was up in Georgia last week, and we're in New Jersey now.
So they can call or email or
Yeah, I'll give you an example. One fella called in a little while ago, called me, and I, just reinforced what we do. I said, please, just first name only. I don't want to know anything else.
Mhm.
I have a couple questions I want to ask you. Are you okay with that? But they're
Mhm.
very limited. And he said, sometimes they'll say, well, why? And I said, well, I want to assign you to the appropriate therapist.
Mhm.
You got the courage to call in.
Right.
So out of all the people I've only met two,
Wow.
and that was because they both invited me. Because I feel for me, the anonymity part of it,
Yes.
that privacy is the secret sauce.
Yes, for sure. I think it's so important to give people a safe space to get help without all the reporting and all that stuff, because
Correct.
I would say that's the number one thing that holds people back.
Correct.
Even years ago, I pitched this idea of like a walk-in clinic, like just your regular health clinic.
Yeah.
But in the back, to if they did offer medication assisted treatment, to make it so it's actually private.
Yeah.
Like if you walk into a treatment center or a MAC clinic, you're sitting next to every other client at the same time. Like
Yeah.
nobody wants to do that.
No.
That is, maybe a police officer or a firefighter or a
Correct.
teacher or someone who's like, let's
That's
get
out and
with it,
about.
guys,
You run into somebody.
Yeah. So I think it's a real barrier for people to get help.
Yeah.
It's just that fear of somebody knowing or running
Yep.
into somebody and
Yep.
what that could do to you and your life, your livelihood, your family.
Yeah. Just think about it too. Maybe a police officer's arrested one of them,
Right.
but I look at it. It's does occupation, do certain occupations fuel the situation? Of course they do. You'd be silly not to acknowledge that. But you know, first responders are also human.
Right.
They have a human condition to them, a human element to them. They're some of the bravest people I know. But here's the thing, they're trained to save everybody else except themselves.
Right.
And then when that human condition comes in, they're like, and then there's a stigma. It's what you signed up for. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. A lot of agencies are getting better. But, does that person get ostracized? A police officer says, I'm not doing well. Do they take their weapon away from them?
Right.
And then they put them in the desk. And then do people be like, hey, I'm not sure if I really want to work with them. My life is on the line. All that's nonsense.
Right.
This is super, super private. And if I could, we have the big walk coming up, right? I've been training for the 98-mile walk.
So, okay, how big was your last walk?
71 miles.
Oh my gosh, 70. Okay, so I just told you to New Hampshire, and I did a very small hike.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm pregnant, so it was different, but it was only 2.5 miles, and I thought I was gonna die. I was like, wow, these old people passing me. I was like sitting there, and I know that they were just looking at me. They're like, girl, you young lady, you can't do this little walk. But 71 miles, and now 90. What did you say? 98?
98 this year.
Woo! Where is it? Where do you start? Where do you end? What is the? Where?
I know, right? How do I come up with all this?
I'm just kidding.
Yes, please.
That is
well, when I'm
how
done.
many days does that even take?
I'm leaving December 4th out of Tequesta Fire Station.
Okay.
And I'm going to end up down in Surfside Memorial, Miami.
Oh, okay.
Part of Miami, outskirts of Miami.
Wow.
We'll have some ceremonial stuff down there. So what is that? 9 days?
Okay, so it's December what?
4th?
December 4th, you're leaving from Tequesta
Yep.
Firehouse, you
Yep.
said?
Yep.
Okay.
There's going to be pipes and drums, honor guard, like,
Awesome.
yeah.
And then people can kind of join you. Are you
Yeah.
taking A1A or?
I got it. There's a battalion chief that's doing all the logistics, not
Okay.
finalized yet, but I would say it's either federal
Mm-hmm.
A1A. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe starting out at Tequesta. I don't know. That might be either one. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to ask questions. Right now, I'm just training my butt off.
Yeah, how do you get ready for something like that?
Oof. Well,
What no, what kind of shoes do you wear?
my wife just got me New Balance something times 4.
Okay.
They're super cool, man. Like,
Okay.
I broke them in yesterday was the first time, and I felt like I broke them in months ago, but it was the first time, and that's how it should be. You will
Okay.
put a shoe
So that's the
on,
right
and you
shoe.
shouldn't have broken up toenails and all. You'd be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they were phenomenal.
Okay, so
New
we got a good
Balance
New
X4.
Balance.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have a sponsor, like a sneaker
Yeah, I
sponsor.
know. That's what I'm saying. What are we wearing for these 100 miles? Like that is crazy. So, all right, you get a good pair of shoes,
Yeah.
and then how do you?
It's all psychological because I'm fairly, I still got some good strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's psychological. Like yesterday was very psychological for me because I walked in a very quiet area. It's just me. And it was really hot yesterday. I get a lot of sunburn and rash. No tunes.
Really?
Yeah, no tunes. Just grind.
Wow.
So, like August, I did, I don't know, 60 miles. September, I clocked almost 80 miles. October, same thing. November, I'm already,
So how many do you do at a time? Like how many
yesterday,
miles?
almost 15.
Wow.
That's about
Okay.
5 hours, 5.5 hours, because I got to sit and rest. In my late 20s, broke my femur bone, screwed up my knee a little bit in a motorcycle accident. That was the speed of my life back then. I went head on with a car.
Mm.
Was in the hospital like 2.5 weeks. So yeah, it's just I can't get up and just bang out 98 miles. Like this is a huge surge, but
Yeah.
it just the surge that goes along with it is the conversation. It gets out there more. You got tons of first responders involved now, helping me with the venue, and then the venue ends with just it's an incredible night. It's very emotional. Like last year, the 71 mile, I had no idea it was being droned the whole time.
Oh wow.
There's a couple pictures. Yo, Tim, you turn around, hey,
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I had no idea. And then at the end, this guy, I call him Low Energy Sam. Oh my God. It's a retired battalion chief. And I'm like, I just got the Serb side. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. He's like, I need 3 songs. I need 3 songs. That means I'm like, Sam, I just banged out 71 miles. It's hot as you know what. Can you? I need 3. So that before I left, because I left, I don't know, about an hour after I got down there, I gave him 3 songs. What he was doing was merging them into his video.
Wow.
He's got mad video skills. So we opened up the thing last year, and he said, "Hey, I didn't pick these songs. Tim did, but it's we're going to show you how it went on the walk." I was like, "Huh." Man, and I had the songs were so perfect, like, and it wasn't a dry eye in the place. It was very moving.
Yeah.
But it just shows you, and then the point of the Heroes Dinner is not only to raise money, but I get people in uniform who wear the uniform to advocate for mental health awareness in front of other people that wear the uniform.
Right.
So it's like boom, boom.
Yes. That's so important.
So last year I had a chief from Green Acres there. I had a representative from PBSO there. I have a firefighter, a fire rescue guy who was a flight medic for Palm Beach County. I met him as a group. I was, running groups, and he was in a treatment center. He's been sober, gosh, I don't know, 11 years now. Wow. I love him. He's a wordsmith, and he's just the real deal.
Yeah.
He'll tell you straight up. I thought about blowing my brains out a couple of times. I had the gun. I got arrested for my gun. You know, like
Wow.
deep, man. And to hear him up there,
Mm-hmm.
he's like.
Do you feel like you've been embraced by different first responder units, like police officers, police stations, or stuff like that recently? And what can you do for them if they wanted to do something for their officers? Do you ever like go in and speak with officers, or what is that vibe like?
Yeah, the day before the walk, I'm going to a fire station to speak about the importance of it, and we got to start changing the conversation. It has nothing to do with bravery. It has nothing to do with that. It's a human condition. A uniform, doesn't take the humanity. It's a human condition. Just look at the numbers. Stop bullshitting yourselves and everybody else. Look at the numbers. Look what's going on. So I talk about that a lot. I'm becoming a brother. It's a very close society. This is just me, people. If you're a first responder, please don't get pissed. I'm Tim, and I want to be your friend, and the only way I could do that is, be honest, right? Game recognizes game, and real recognizes real. So I just, tell them, and I put my money where my mouth is. Anybody can tell you they want to do something. Well, let me see you do it first. Then maybe I'll consider it. And if I see you do it over again, and then 4 years in a row and hundreds of people later, last year on that 71 mile, this guy really opened up to me. And that's what changed my life. The sidebar conversations, all these men pulled me aside. So thank you for doing this. We need to talk about it. We can't. I'm in recovery. I got 6 years, blew me away. And then you get pulled by a lot of just women, and the guy, they get pulled up to maybe the firehouse, and they show you a fella or a gal. It's on the wall, their plaque, that death by suicide, and thank you, gratitude. And I get escorted. So I asked this one guy, we were walking last year, and I said, "Hey man, can I ask you a personal question?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "What made you get so vulnerable with me?" And then he's like, "Really?" Oh shit, did I push it? Like,
yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, "Dude, you're a Marine. You're 30 something miles in, sweating your ass off. You got 40 to go, and you're doing it for us. I felt comfortable with you. I needed to get it out."
Wow.
And it just, it's really deep, and where it's going is really cool. And I hope, one day I can pass it off to somebody. I'm 63. I don't know when God's going to tell me to, okay, enjoy a few years, or maybe I could just sit in the background a little bit more. I do have one plan already. If my knees go out, my body, I can get on a bike.
Oh, okay. That's
and guess
cool.
where my first stop's going to be?
Where?
Ocala, Florida.
How many
375 miles away. But on a bike, I could probably bang out, I don't know, 40, 50 miles a day, I think.
You're crazy. That's a lot.
I just want to be
I love
told
it.
when it's all said and done that you did a good job.
I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks.
I think it is really impressive because, there are a lot of nonprofits. They do all sorts of stuff, but to actually put your shoes on and, walk
I walked 5 hours yesterday by myself.
It is just giving so much of yourself and your time and your energy, and it's a real investment, and it's not easy. And you're right, it's hot. This is Florida. You're not doing this in South Carolina or New York in the nice fall weather. I mean, it's a really big deal to walk all that way. And so I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I'll see you for a good 10, 15 minutes of that walk.
Well, we'll be coming through West Palm. Get the office together. Maybe we could reach out to Chief Maddie. I'm sure she's going to be
Chief Maddie.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
Yeah, she is.
I'm sure she's going to be part of the the route.
Uh-huh.
She's a phenomenal advocate for mental wellness. She
Yes.
has peers. She started peers. She's got 30 something. I just talking to her the other day. They have, I don't know, 350 people and they got like 30 peers. Like
Wow.
she's phenomenal. She's in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a tough gig, but somebody's got to do it. I never had a beard in my life until 4 years ago. Never. But,
Wow.
my first year training for the 20 mile, I did that 20 mile. It really was hard. My
Yeah.
15, one day I
I
was at
bet.
15, almost like hallucinating them. And I was so like, what'd you get yourself into? I was getting
Right.
that angry kind of. The hell.
How do you like get past that mentally? Like even doing something that takes so much endurance, like is there a trick or like
I
what?
asked that day, I asked for a sign, please help me because I don't know how much more I can do. And by
Uh-huh.
the next day, I went to shave like I've been shaving my whole life. Whether you believe me or not, I heard stop. Don't shave because every time from now on until the walk, you'll look at yourself and realize what you're doing it and why you're doing it. Because I shaved my whole life, and I never had. And each day, there it was, there it
Wow.
was, amazing. And of course, the wife liked it, and then I heard other people,
Mhm.
so I kept it, and it became part of the SOTS. It
Right.
became part of the Stomping Out the Stigma. And every month before, I don't trim it. So I haven't trimmed it now for, unless like under here I have,
Yeah.
but this part, the meat of
Mhm.
it, I won't trim it until after the walk.
Wow.
So,
When is your dinner?
December 13th, we
Okay.
just haven't secured the venue yet.
Mhm.
But please, there's plenty of sponsorships available. The dinner tickets, I think, are $50 each. I think. Don't quote me on that, but if that's all you can do, I'll work something out anyway. Yeah, and it's really powerful.
And so the dinner goes towards helping all of these first responders, the hundreds that have called in or
Correct.
messaged you all
Yep.
just looking for help
Yep.
off the record,
Yep.
and they're connected with a therapist. Would you they get 10
10
sessions
sessions. It's
with
not
a
cheap.
licensed clinical social
Correct.
worker, like a legit
Look,
individual? It's over the phones or
legit, in
yeah.
person, virtual, over the phone. Some people prefer over the phone.
Mhm.
Just have a chat,
Yeah.
and
Easy. They don't have to
yeah,
go through all this
correct.
and
I have letters and stories. I read them at every dinner, every function. Obviously,
Mhm.
no names of experiences with SOTS.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's human beings are designed to connect. We're
Mhm.
designed to communicate, and we're not designed to implode. We're just not designed for that.
Yeah.
So to hear these people, I've experienced some of these people like I do in treatment. I all the money, I don't touch the money. I
Mhm.
don't have to. I have a full-time job.
Right.
It all goes to them.
Mhm.
Every once in a while, I got to meet a guy or something that's a first responder,
Mhm.
that's an advocate, or they wear the uniform. They want to do lunch, talk about stomping out the stigma. Stomping out the stigma pays for it.
Mhm.
The
Right.
guy's risking or she's risking her life. Yeah, we're gonna buy lunch.
Yeah.
But other than that, it all goes.
Wow.
So yeah, it's an amazing. I just can't believe where it is right now.
Yes, for sure. And what just one final question, Tim.
Oh man, the final. Oh man.
Did when young Tim was graduating or leaving the Marine Corps or, all that, could you ever imagine that this would be, or even the day you went into your, Deerfield, your first day in treatment, did you ever think that um this is what your life would be like? And what advice can you give somebody who may be just starting their journey of into the unknown of recovery?
Wow. Well, don't try not to be led by fear.
Mhm.
Have some type of faith, and it doesn't have to be my kind of faith, but it has to be faith. Because for me, fear, living a fear-based life only created more fear.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because if I live a fear-based life, I'm making fear-based decisions, and fear-based decisions only create more fear. Just get honest with yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. It's your programming.
Mhm.
Find your tribe. and definitely start doing what you don't want to do.
That's very good advice. Yes.
Yeah. And just come on, man. We need you out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of us, I don't think, live to our full potential. And it's not about assets and all that. It's about how are you living your life? How are you showing up? Like if today was the last day of your life, what would it look like?
Mm-hmm.
And like the grass is green on the other side. Well, that's bullshit. It's green wherever you water it.
Mm-hmm.
Your cups half full, your cups half empty. Who gives you know what? At least there's something in it.
Right.
F it. You only live once. No, you only die once. You live every day. Like, come, if we're gonna give words and things so much power, well, throw yourself into that too. Empower
Yeah.
yourself.
And you can do so much for your community too. I think it's important because at the end of the day, even when all this stuff with, people are lately, obviously, I work in social services. So people were concerned about SNAP benefits and this and that.
Yeah,
And everyone's always concerned about the homeless and all these
yeah,
things. But what can really fix it? It's not the government, right? It's not Big Brother. That's not who's going to fix our problems. It's each other.
correct.
And what each individual can do for their community,
Love it.
like whether you just like if someone doesn't have money for food, well, how much crap is in your pantry that you're never going to eat? I have a ton. I love working with the homeless. I'll try something new. I hate it. I bring it all to work.
There you go.
But whatever. It's like it's the little things that we do.
Yeah.
And how we think of others throughout the day, that will really make our society better.
Yeah.
And can really impact other people.
Yeah.
So I just think everyone should consider, what they can do for somebody else.
Amen.
Yes, every day. So,
Amen.
well, it was great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Allie.
You.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was quite a switch. It was different for me, you made it very enjoyable, and yeah, I had a great time. And I don't know. I always just feel like you may have, and I wouldn't doubt this, but it's reality. You may have had something exactly what somebody needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way anybody can get in touch with you?
Yeah, well, they can always email me, allie.severino@gmail.com, ALLIE.SEVERINO@gmail, or follow me on Instagram and shoot me a message there. Yeah, and I'd love to connect and get back to you. Email's usually best, and yeah, if I can do anything, I will do my best to do it or connect. And there's so many people who I met years ago online that reach out, and if I have the time and the bandwidth, like I'll just chat with people. Sometimes you just want to talk to somebody you don't really know. Reach out. I'm here for sure.
And I believe every word she said. I've known Allie for years, and she's always been there for me and for many other people because we know a lot of the same people. And that's because there's a lot of people that see this podcast now, and yeah, real deal. If you want to get in touch with me, tim.r@beachway.com. I too are all over social media. Just look me up, Tim Roberto. And hey, have a great rest of your day. It's not as bad as it may seem. I believe you're probably most likely doing better than you think you are.
Yes.
And until the next episode, Allie and I wish you peace and love.
See you later.